Okay, we've got, just so that you know here, you won't be able to hear them because their mics are supposed to be off, but Bob, who we spoke of, his ears must have been burning. He's here, I would assume, from his hometown. So there's Bob. He'll be our presenter next month, and he will doing a good one on cybersecurity and all. And then there's Rich Allen, who's joining us by Zoom. We do have a Zoom account. It means that on meetings where we are using a computer or can connect to the computer, people can connect from home if you're not able to be here in person, or as one of our lovely members takes away and gets gone, if she changes and adjusts her clock, Juanita can be joining us earlier on Sunday afternoons because she can use her computer and connect through Zoom and be on our program as well. We also, thanks to the efforts of Everett, we record our business meeting and our programs, and he has those posted up on his YouTube shortly after done. So if you miss the meeting because you're busy, you always get the recording and you can see that part. All right. Unfortunately, because we're using Zoom, you have to put up with that little thing up at the top. If you were at the other end, Rich and Bob don't see that little green and red up there because you're not supposed to. But since you're watching Zoom as it happens, you'll see that.
What about the overhead light?
What about the overhead light? That's probably turned off. I could probably do it from right here, but thank you, Jim. Okay. Hopefully the light from here isn't as much of a problem. I know that it's a concern for Everett. We are still negotiating with this because if this becomes a non-emergency exit, then we might be able to hang the curtain back up and get some light out. But that's once we change that part. And this is what I give to everybody else when I do a presentation across the country. I was in California last week, and I'll be in California again next month, I think, all from my home, thanks to Zoom. So we're going to be talking what I call functional resources that are economically enticing. And for reading, yeah. Types of software. I use these little letters. We have the no-no, the PS, the paid software, the software that you go to the store and you put down your hard-earned money. And then we have the FS, the free software, no money down. Today, I'm not going to sell you a single thing because today I'm going to talk to you about free software. Now, we also have two different kinds. We've got what's called a closed source software and an open source software. Closed means you can't see what's inside. Open source means you can take a look at the inside. I'll get to a better explanation of that. And mostly we talk about the free open source software because you could have open source software that you pay for. But you can also have open source software that you don't. FOSS, free and open source software. Now, here's how I explain it. We, twice a year at this building, have our potlucks. We have our summer cookout potluck, and then we'll have our indoor potluck banquet in December. And we all come here and we find lots of good food. And so we go through and we find a dish that we thought was really, really good. We find out that Laura did that. So we go to Laura and say, Laura, I've got a family cookout coming up, our potluck for the holidays. I would love to have that dish at my potluck. and can I have the recipe? And Laura goes, well, that's been in the family, and we kind of have been told to keep it in the family. But you know what? I'll fix it for you, and then you can take it. So that's free software. She gave me the recipe cooked up, and I took it. I found another dish, and that turned out to be Janet's. I said, Janet, I love that. Could I have that recipe so I can do it for the holiday? And Janet says, sure. Somebody gave me that recipe, and we've used it, and they said, pass it on. So she gives it to me. Because I have the recipe, that's open source. I know exactly what goes into that. So there's kind of like the difference. Because there's free from her, but she's not going to tell me what all's in it, and free from her that says, here's the recipe, do what you want. And many times we go through and we say, that was a good recipe, but you know, I think it would be better if we add this. Or we might say, well, that was a good recipe, but you know, I don't pretty much like that, so I can leave that out. So that's free and open source. Both free. People are willing to share code. Some of the software says you can have it for free, but I don't tell you what it is. You can have this and pay for it, or totally free. A lot of it comes down to a philosophy, and I don't really get into that. I don't have my degree in philosophy. All I appreciate is that FOSS is there, and I can have lots of free and open source. Now, we're having this program today because yesterday, and let me see if I can get back to, yesterday was Software Freedom Day around the world, not just here in Newark and Ohio, it's around the world. And you can see, I don't know if this one's up to date, but you can see that there were people hosting Software Freedom Days around the world. Some of them were putting on conferences, more elaborate stuff. We are just doing a program for members and visitors about free software, so we are taking a part with this. So I wanted to kind of say, you know, what is free software? Free software is free to use, plain and simple. The freedom to run the program as you wish, however you want to do it. No one is going to tell you what you have to do. Here's the software, you get it. It's free to study. Means I can go through it and read all the codes and see what they did to make it. Nothing is hidden from me, as it is with certain other companies that hide and lock up their software so that nobody knows what's going on inside. It's free to distribute. Ken and those of us in the Linux group, we distribute Linux all the time. We have been given the right to disseminate it to anybody we want to, as many as we want to, because it's free to give out. It's also free to modify, like I said with the recipe of Janet's. I can take anybody's program that's FOSS and I can change it. I'm allowed to because that's what the rule, the policy says. I have free access to it. And the bottom thing is it's all about sharing. People create things that work. People create recipes that taste good and they want to share it. That's what free software is all about. Freedom simply matters. All right, let's go back. Oh, you gotta wake up because I moved back to the screen. I don't know if that changed too or not. Let's go back page. Part of the areas that we want to talk about for free software come under these categories. Operating system, tech assisting, protection, I'm not going to do a lot of protection part because that's next month's cybersecurity, so I want you all to come back for that. Productivity, graphics, and digital imaging, and some multimedia. These are all areas that we do with the computer here and every day. So I want to start with operating system because that's the brains of it all. I like a graphical desktop. In the beginning days, those of you who've been doing computers as long as, a few of us, we started back in the text days. The DOS days, there were no graphical looking things. It was all just text that you typed and stuff. But we got information, so I like it. But in terms of operating systems, we have one huge, major, free and open source operating system, and that is Linux, as opposed to both Microsoft and Apple Mac OS that are closed source and not free. With the operating system and the whole idea of the open source, there are many different ones. And that's what happens with Linux. As you can see up here, we have different versions of Linux: Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Debian, Red Hat. Everything started with one, and then the recipe got changed and changed and changed. Whereas the Windows and Mac started, and it's never been altered other than some improvements or whatever changed to it. Because we don't count the 7, 10. It's Windows. Windows has always been Windows, Mac has always been Mac. In fact, with the operating system that is so free and open source, the actual desktop that you work with has variations because people said, well, I like this, but I want to add this. So we have what we call desktop environments, and we have the top ones are Cinnamon, GNOME, KDE, Mate, XFCE. But you go back to Windows and Mac, you got Windows. You got Mac, and that's it. We have desktop environments in Linux that mimic Macs and mimic Windows along with their own. Just to do a quick show as an example, you can see this is a version of Linux. It's the Linux Mint. It's the Mate desktop. And as you can see, it has the same kinds of things that you'd have in Windows. Only difference is that the main drop down is at the top instead of the bottom, but Windows can do that. And there's your menu. There's all your programs. Here's a different version. This one is going to be kind of taken off the market because they're changing. But you can see that they have their taskbar down the side, which Windows can do. But they have a different kind of a design. There's the desktop with programs opening, and if that doesn't look like Windows that you're used to, because they're all Windows. These little boxes are Windows, so each program opens up in its own window. And there's the other one. So I consider this one, the top free open source software is your operating system. All right, so now we're going to go to where we have some live things. I'm going to go back and forth between the screens and show you. My goal today is to show you a number of programs that are free, available for you to download and use that you might not have known about. So we'll switch. And I'm doing a trick that you'll learn. I did the wrong buttons. I like that. Yeah. On your keyboard, if you didn't know, that you can change your orientation with sometimes an Control Alt and your arrow key. And then, of course, that changed me. What I wanted was Control Window arrow key, because I'm switching back and forth between desktops, something new that Windows added. Linux has had for a long time. So Windows users, now you get to do what we've been doing a long time. I can go back and forth without having to maximize, minimize, maximize, minimize. All right, so I'm going to get my notes here. In terms of tech support, you can have your telephone, you can have your cell phone, or your house phone, The only problem is those cost money. If you go to your computer, you can open up a program that is called Skype. And with this program, I can connect to any computer in the world. I can do a verbal talk or a video talk with anybody in the world for free. Doesn't cost a cent. So when somebody needs some tech support, I can call them. And just to show you, yes, it is.
I like to test you.
Yeah.
The one who's wrong is too long.
You gotta use your Sunday password.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. It's the wrong username. That's email. It doesn't want email. The new version of Skype uses your Microsoft account.
Right.
I don't do that because I'm not using mine. It's my old one that I've had for years and years. This will work now. Okay, and so what we have is just like anybody's phone book. You'll see that I'll get up here and I'll have a list of contacts that I can call. And if I call them on their computer, let's go to, here we go. There's my list, and you can see I call and talk to Nancy a lot, and I talk to Ira a lot, so they're in my favorites. But I can call them from this computer to their computer and talk to them for free. If we want to see each other, we can see each other. So you can provide help without going to somebody's house because you can talk to them. Now, I do, even though I'm free, John, I do pay for a special service with Skype in which I can call a house phone. So if I'm going to work, let's say, with Janet, I will call her house from my Skype, and that's because if we're doing computer to computer and she has to reboot her computer while I'm helping her, well, we're going to lose Skype. So I call people with the Skype phone so that I can keep with them, so that when the computer goes off, they're going to go, it went away. Now what? Just wait till it comes back on. All right, so that's Skype. And it's going to be web-based now. Microsoft has moved it from a client to web-based, which means that I can go to anybody's computer, get on Skype through the internet, and use it. Before, it had to be installed on your computer. Now, along with that, you want to be able to do TeamViewer. TeamViewer is a program that you install on your computer, and I have it on my computer, and we can connect, and I can see your computer. Now, right now, I'm going to do it by going to my contact list. And I have two, and right now I'm going to connect, or I could do it this way. You can see here, you have a number. My number for this laptop is 464-921-365. That's like my phone number. It never changes. But I have a password that changes every time I use it, so that it's very, very secure. And so if I call you, you give me your ID number, and then I click, and then I have to have a password, and then you tell me, and I get connected, or Ken gets connected, or whoever's providing the help. And then the next time you start up, it's a new password, so it doesn't stay. But I've got this one because right now, My favorite screensaver. A little can. We are now on my computer at home. This is my desktop computer, my Linux computer at home, and I was able to access it with a password. And if I needed to do something on it, I can actually run this. What I do is to help people, I sit back and let's say I'm working, yes, Mary Frances.
Do you have to leave it turned on at home?
Oh, yeah.
No,
At home?
no. Only when you want tech support. And the way I run things is you install a program that only runs when you want it to run. And when you start it up, it's running. It gives a password, and we get on. When you close it, it's off, and that password is no longer usable for who knows how many thousands of years until it would have to come up. Now, my program is running on my desktop because otherwise I could not connect to it. So you have a choice. I tell all the people that I work with, you do not get this version. You get the one that just runs when you want help. So when I call Nancy, and we're going to do a team viewer, she clicks on it, and it starts. She gives me the password. We do what we need to do. When she closes it out, it's closed. I cannot get back in because it's not running. Now, what I do is I usually just sit back and let people tell me what the problem is. You show me. Because pictures are worth 1,000 words and all that sort of stuff. But when it comes to the point that somebody says, I just don't understand what I'm supposed to do, my mouse is working, my mouse at home, and my keyboard works their keyboard. And so together we take care of problems. This program is free. It's free for everybody. It's free for me to give tech support. It's free for Nancy and Laura to get tech support, as long as we keep our interactions free together. If I start charging, then I have to pay like $900 a year for the license. And you can't afford me because I'm not paying for it. It's tremendous. I try to donate. Mr. Freejohn donates to FOSS people. Thank them for what they've done. Give them a few bucks here, a few bucks there. They're happy because lots of people give a few bucks here, a few bucks there. But I wanted to give them some money for this terrific program because of how much it's helped me help others. They won't take donations. No. There's nothing on the website. I emailed and they wrote back and said we don't take donations. Because they get enough from the corporations that allows us individuals to give it out free.
I think this is an essential part of the software that everybody should have.
I agree. You know, I think everybody should have the TeamViewer Quick Support so that they can get it when they want it, and that way you feel secure because it's not running. Now, I will admit that it's possible for somebody to hack in to my computer. Very difficult, but they could because it's got a permanent password. That's how I was able to connect, and it's on. But I'm the one that's always giving the help. All right, so when we get done, we close out of this one, and you'll see that thanks for playing fair. I'm not charging for that. At your end of the computer, you have the same thing. So I can say, okay, no, I don't want to buy a license. And when I click this, it's still running. Right, where's my icon? There it is. It's still running on this computer because this is the full version, and at home it's still running. But like I said, at Laura's or Nancy's or at Janet, when they click the X, it's terminated. It's not running at all. Now, this isn't the only one. This is the one I like the best, but you're always looking for other things. Google has their own, it's called Google Voice and Google Hangouts, where you can communicate back and forth and share a desktop. This one does so much more. We can transfer files, and it's just really, really good that way. Questions or anything? All right. Moving on, the biggest thing that most people do on their computers is create things on them. And I did neglect to say that I am running this presentation on Windows because most of you are Windows. I do not have to. I can be running it on Linux because most of the software that I would be talking about, besides being open source, is what's called cross-platform. It means it's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So I could be doing this program, straight from Linux, but I'm not here to do a Linux presentation today. Some other day. Another program that is really, really important to everybody is a productivity tool. And the number one we're going to be talking about is called LibreOffice. And I need to see if I can get it to kick in without going back, because I have LibreOffice running. So I have to go back and see if I can do this the right way where I can get a second one going. Try doing it with. There we go. Okay, now it's not going to get me. I don't want to be here. This is just the one part of the program. I want to be in the main program. So now let me see if I'm here, if it will let me, because I have what I've nicknamed the lobby. And the lobby is this one. Let me in the lobby. The lobby is the starting place, and you need to see it because there's something that's really very interesting in that one. So let me see. All right, so I'm going to fix you. I'm going to close you up.
Maybe it's too large, maybe it's covering something.
No, it's not. It's because I have it already open. The computer is saying to me, well, you silly guy, it's already open. So now I can open a new copy and go back to my presentation later. Oh, wait a second. There, it's right there. All right, this is what I call the lobby. And I think this is a key feature that I really didn't use a lot. I usually just go up and go to my word processor and go to whatever. But LibreOffice came from OpenOffice, which came from StarOffice, which came from StarWriter. Way back in the middle 80s, StarWriter was a paid program. And when Sun Microsystem bought it out, it became StarOffice, and then immediately became open source, which means they said, we want this program to go to everybody for free, and so it became OpenOffice. And then a few years later, Oracle bought them out, and Oracle wasn't so keen on letting this open source stuff go. So all the developers of OpenOffice said, we're going to take our football and we're going home. And they all left, went across the street, figuratively, and recreated their OpenOffice with a new name called LibreOffice. Oracle said, well, pooey, we aren't having any fun anymore, so Oracle gave up OpenOffice to Apache. And Apache is trying to keep it open source going, but it's kind of hard to compete against LibreOffice. Libre is Spanish for free office. All right, on the bottom left-hand side, and Davey was nice enough to give me the pointer, you can see the components: a writer, calc, impress, a draw, math, and base. Now that's the equivalent to Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Whoops, they don't have a drawing program. Whoops, they don't have a math formula program. Oh, and Access. So from here I can go to any of those. You can also see that I can go to recent ones, so you can see that these are the programs that I've had open recently. I can go to it. I can also go to an open file to take me anywhere on my computer to get a file I want to work. But what I discovered that has become new in I don't know how long, because I never really used this, is a thing called remote files. And I got to wonder, what the heck is remote files? So when I found it out, checked into it, found out I can actually connect to my cloud. So I got to put in a password, my master password. And, Chucky, we are now connected to my Google Drive. So I can go up through my LibreOffice now and connect and get any of my files from there. I don't have to go to the Drive, download them, go to LibreOffice, open them up. I can access them. I'm supposed to be able to do it with OneDrive, but every time I try to do the OneDrive, I get a big major error, which to me doesn't seem, or seems to be reasonable, because I don't think Microsoft really wants us to be using LibreOffice instead of their Office. But that's terrific. So I can access any of my files that are in my cloud right through LibreOffice. Now if we go to Writer, Writer is a pre-ribbon program. They chose not to follow Microsoft's path of going to ribbons because the majority of people said, we don't like ribbons. We like the regular menu. And I had Judy Tallur, who some of you know from our National Computer Group. She said the other day when I was doing her presentation, we call this the Chinese menu. And I said, Chinese menu? Yeah, you pick one from column A, and then you pick another one from this column, because when you go to your menus, you know, you get drop down, then you get to another menu, and so they call it Chinese. But some people like the ribbon, some people don't. So if you like the ribbon, then you're not going to like LibreOffice because they're not making the switch. One of the neat things I found in the newer versions of LibreOffice is that over on the side, they have, I just put it away, a sidebar. And this sidebar over here now has all the tools you need at your side. And I can click, there's all the ones for the main properties, plus all your paragraph and your spacing, all in one place. So that might be sort of like a ribbon, but it's easy to see. If I click that one, there's all the formatting. And if I click that one, there's my graphics that I can add. I will tell you that this is not an extensive listing of graphics for putting in your papers. I can remember in years gone by that we would have thousands of graphics that we could have both in Word and in Works and in LibreOffice. But people have found out everybody goes to the web. If you want a graphic, go to the web and get it. So why spend a lot of time including graphics when people are going to go out and get what they want? Because this isn't just what I want. Now, the thing about this and LibreOffice is every program is kind of designed the same. So if I go, get out of there, and I open up a new, and see, I can go right from here. This you can't do in Mac without going back to the main menu. I can go to New, and I can, this mouse is very sensitive, switch to the presentation program, which is called Impress, because that's what you're trying to do. And there is that sidebar. And again, it has the same exact setup. I like this because the old way to do a presentation was created almost into a square. But nowadays with our widescreen, all you have to do to change that is just do one click and say, I want it there. And it's switched, and you don't have to go find it. You used to have to go find it in the menu. And again, then there's the page with all your transitions. There's the page with all your animations for your stuff that you do. And right now it's kind of grayed out because there's none. There's all your graphics again, and styles and formatting. So this program is kind of like the ultimate program for productivity that you have for doing all of your work that you need to do. You can do Word spreadsheets. This is the program that we teach in our club because it's free. All right, let's move on. I'm not going to say that.
What version, John, is that latest version of LibreOffice?
Oh, good. 5.4. The one I have is 5.4.1. Now, there are two versions. 5.4.1. There are two versions of LibreOffice. One for the kind of guy like me that always wants the newest stuff added right away, and that's the fresh version. And then there is for the people who say, slow down. Don't start throwing stuff here that isn't going to be maybe 100% working. Check it out first. That's called the still version. And that is the 5.3. 5 is the overall version of LibreOffice. Odd number is the still. And the even number is the fresh. So the still one is 5.3.6. And when it's ready to move up, it'll go to 5.5 point something. Whereas the version I use right now is 5.4.1. It'll eventually change to 5.6. Then they'll all move to 6 point. So those are the two different versions, and I like that. Because if you want to always have the newest stuff right away, go with the fresh. Now, another program that is key to freebies is for those people who do photo editing. And that is the program called GIMP, standing for Graphical Image Manipulation Program. GIMP, little fox there. This is the program for those who do not want to pay the huge amount of money for Adobe Photoshop, or even for the others. Oh, Xmarks? No, we're not. That's my program, my free program that remembers all my web logins.
That GIMP is difficult for my pea brain to absorb.
No, it's not. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to learn. Then you wouldn't be willing to learn Photoshop, would you? Right. Okay. So then we have stuff for those people that don't want to go that big. Come on. I want to show you that this would be the cream of the crop for photo editing for free and open source. It's available for Windows and for Linux. Now, we've got somebody being cute, you know. You want me to log you off? I can do that real quick, you know.
Not like you tell me, have patience.
When you are doing the kind of program that we have for Zoom, this is a meeting program. So technically we are having a meeting. With APCUG, we do a webinar, which means that the people watching can't do anything. They can't mess around. But this is great because people can be, helping co-edit stuff like that. I'm sorry this is taking so long, but part of it's probably our internet. We had trouble with this third Friday, Jim. They kept kicking out on us. There we go. All right, move it up. There we go. All right, so this, just to show you, has all of the same kind of tools that Photoshop has, all the same kinds of adjustments that you can make here on the right-hand side. It's huge. And like Mary Frances said, you've got to work a little bit. But there are tutorials out there and stuff like that that can help you learn that. But I wanted you to see that if you wanted a top-of-the-line photo editing program, GIMP's the one. No question. It's free. So now let's see if I can. There we go. Now, as opposed to that, Mary Frances would say, you know, if we get the program that I use, which is OrphanView, she says, get out of there, get out. What I don't like about drop downs. There we go. She says, this is what I need. Because this program is not as feature-rich as GIMP would be, but if I would open up a picture, and you're in the wrong folder, mister. Oh, giving Joseph a bath. If we open it in Urfit, okay, I'll move you there. If we open it up in OrphanView, Mary Frances will do someday a lesson on using OrphanView because there's my editing. And there's a lot of editing she can do, but it's a lot simpler because it just says, what do you want to do? Click here and we do it. And so,
John, is that urban? U-R-B?
Urfan. I-R-F. Urfan, somebody's name.
Okay.
View, OrphanView. And so that's what Mary Frances is like. And she uses this for her editing. She can put text box on here, whatever. But it's a free one. Okay, if you want something else, you can go with a program such as, in the eyes also, it's called, where do we move it?
And what version is that, OrphanView?
What matter does it have?
Say that again.
What matter does it have? You go to their website and you get it.
Just go to the site and you'll get it.
Right. This one happens to be 0.92.
Okay.
And OrphanView does not, no, I'm sorry, that's InkView. OrphanView is 64.4.44.
Okay.
But, you know, what version doesn't matter because if I don't have it up to date, that wouldn't be the current version. All right, now the problem is, where is my... Oh, F. I was in the wrong window. The one I recommend is Faststone Image Viewer. Because Faststone, I think, offers more than what maybe OrphanView might do. But this is also an organizer and editor and viewer. So you could go here to Gulf Shores Condos and see where Greg and Cindy used to stay. Here's the view out their kitchen window. That's Gulf Shores looking out to Florida. But what I like about this program so well is I'm viewing the program. If I go to the top, I get to see the film strip of all the pictures that are in my folder. If I go to the right side, those of us who are camera people, and I'm no longer a camera person because I can't keep up with that, but those people who are, here's all the information about the picture that was made and stored for you. If I go to this side, here's all my editing tools. And if I go to the bottom, go to the bottom, see, you have a bar that's blocking the bottom. You go to another set of tools where I can print it, I can mail it, I can resize it. So I like this program because all around the edges are everything that you need to work. That's high up. They're on like the 16th floor. There's that.
False.
There's one last graphic program that I'll tell you about.
Program, John?
That was Fast Stone Image Viewer, freebie. And the last one is Peas.
Peace.
Peas. Gotta go to Peas. Photoscape. This is a kind of a neat program because this is many programs in one. And when it starts up, you'll see that this one, as you go around the little wheel, this is for editing, batch editing, which means I can select 50 pictures and say, do this to all 50 at once. I can create pages. I can view the pictures. I can split things up. I can use this program to capture my screen. I can use this program to make collages, I think. This is a real neat. It's called Photoscape. It's, again, a free. And there's printing. So there's a number of programs that are out there in the free world.
John,
Yep.
any of these programs, can you edit a video?
No, these are graphic programs. You want a video program? That's a different set of programs. But yes, we have a number of ones that can be. I'm not demonstrating them because we do not do enough video editing to take the time. That can be posted on our web board.
Can you suggest one?
Nope.
I have one that I use and it is free.
Yeah.
It's called VideoPad. You can check that out.
PAD, pad.
Video, VIDEO, pad, PAD.
PAD, okay.
I have, but I don't have them here to pull up because I don't do that much video editing. But Everett does because he takes our movies and fixes them up. There are a number of free ones out there. Avetamux, I think that's how it is one of the top ones. So, yeah, they're out there. I have yet to find nothing for somebody who wants a free piece of software. I have yet to find. If you say what kind you want, I can find it for you. Let me jump. Let's go to, really quickly, I'm not going to do the web browsers because they're all free, but some of them are better than the others. PDF readers. PDF readers, you got to have to read a PDF, portable document format. That's what most people create to send out to people because you can't change them. If I sent you a document, you can open it up and change it. But if we send you out a PDF, you just kind of read it. Most people know Adobe. Yeah. Adobe is the company that makes hundreds and thousands of dollars, so I don't use it. And I go with one that you can go from different levels. The first one I used a long time ago is called Foxit Reader. And when you go to Foxit Reader, which is under the S, and it reads PDFs. But you can do more with Foxit Reader than you can with Adobe Reader. Because Adobe wants you to buy Acrobat, which is their big program that does all that. But if you would go and look at Adobe Reader, the free one, you would find you do not have all the tools that I have in Foxit Reader to do PDFs. And I can even edit some of these and make some changes, but not in the original. I have to resave it. But Foxit Reader. Now, somebody who wants maybe a little bit more than what Foxit Reader has, and notice Foxit Reader went with the ribbon. One called Nitro Reader. Whoops, I got it right there. This one would be a little bit of a step above Foxit Reader because this one has even more advanced features that you can do. Again, they followed Microsoft's ribbon, so I don't like them as well. But Foxit Reader, and then move to Nitro Reader. And then if you want the biggest one, I found one. It was a reader that was free. They had an editor that was paid, but I didn't really need editing because LibreOffice creates PDFs. You create a PDF or a document, and then you save it as a PDF. You create a presentation, save it as a PDF. So I didn't really need a paid PDF, but this one, it's called PDF Exchange. Where are you? Wait a second, I did download you. PDF Exchange, and it's hiding from me now. So evidently I didn't download it on here. Is an even bigger program than Nitro. And it used to be you had to get just the PDF Exchange viewer. Now they give you the PDF editor. So there are programs that weren't free are becoming free. Oh, people always ask. They asked the other night in California, what about what do you have out there that's like Publisher? Well, Publisher isn't even really out there anymore because it's hard to find a Publisher. But we have a program that we use ourselves for our newsletter, and it's called Scribus, like you're a scribe. And if you use Scribus, which is version 1.4.6, okay.
Is that S-C-R-I-B-I-S?
US.
U.S.
Scribus. And Scribus does everything that I would have probably used in Publisher, but it's free. And you can see right there that you start out, do you want a single publication? Do you want a two-fold? Do you want a tri-fold? So the tri-folds that we have here that we can do, we can create with Scribus, and we can even make a 4. And what's different with this than with your, oops, file, new, I'll do a double-sided one just to have some. What's different about doing this than just your regular document is that with Scribus, you can start an article and have 2 paragraphs on page 2, and then you can have it link to page 4 like a newspaper does. And so you just type the whole column and you say, I only want the column on page 2 to be this big. And so then it just automatically goes over to that 4th page and continues the article. You can't do that like in a LibreOffice document program because you have to make these special kind of text boxes that link to each other. But that's what this can do. So if you're looking for a program that does publications, Scribus is the one that you want.
Does that run in Linux?
Oh yeah.
It's free software.
Well, not all free software, but it's cross-platform.
Okay.
So yeah. What else? We're running out. I will comment that because of LibreOffice, Google said we need to provide an online free productivity set of tools. So if you have a Google account, you have access on the web to Google Docs, which is the word processing, Sheets, which is their spreadsheet, and Slides, which is their presentation. So you can go up into the cloud, create all of this material on a free one. It probably does not have all the features that LibreOffice have because it's a pretty big program that you install on your computer, but it gives you your free. Because Google had that up in the cloud, Microsoft said, okay, we got to get some people back who go to Docs because it's free. So now Microsoft, if you have an account, will also give you a watered-down version of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint that you can access from the cloud. Does not have all of the features that you would if you paid for Microsoft Office because they're going to give you everything for free, but at least it would give you whatever. The advantage of LibreOffice is that it's installed on your computer. You don't need to have internet access, and the files stay on your computer. Mary Frances?
I'm feeling stupid. Where do you save such an item after you do change it? You went to the cloud?
It stays in the cloud.
Okay.
Yeah, because your Google and your Microsoft have the cloud, and so you create it and it stays up there. You can download it to yours if you wanted to download it to your computer, but the whole idea is that you can access all your files from anywhere in the world. Okay, finishing up. Yo,
Can't you do the same thing with Dropbox?
you can't create files with Dropbox, no.
Oh, okay.
But Dropbox, Ira's right, is earlier than Google Drive, OneDrive for storage. Some of us have been using Dropbox for a while. But you can't, you'd have to create something on your desk, then
That makes
upload it to that. Last thing, in your Microsoft program, it's free. And people tell me, well, it's free, it comes with Microsoft. I beg to differ. Anything that comes with Microsoft, you pay for it. So, yes, Internet Explorer and Edge, technically free browser. No, you paid for it when you bought Windows. So Windows or Windows 10 has the snipping tool for you to take a picture of your screen area. But if you want a better one, you want the one that's called GreenShot. And if you go to get GreenShot, and I have it here, GreenShot will set up, oh yeah, I'm already running it because it's in my active background. GreenShot is a program that will let you capture, similar to what Snipping Tool will do. I will have to give that credit. It will capture your whole screen, a specific window, or you can draw with your mouse and say, I just want this part. We teach people, this is what you do when you have like messages pop up on your screen. You get an error message, and then you kind of remember what it said, and you come to one of us a week later and said, this message popped up. It said something like, well, that's not going to help us. It can't do it. So we tell everybody, make sure that you have a capture program. When a message comes up, grab it and save it. And then we've got the exact wording. So, for example, if I go up here and I'm going to do a region so that I can just capture part of something, I'm going to do that much. And then I can save this. But the other thing is that if you look on the side of the screen, left hand, you see all of these editing tools. And I can use these tools to edit my picture. For example, I can go and get my arrow, and I can say, look at that. Or I can say, I can get a text box, here's my T, and say, what does that mean? M-E-A-N. And then I can save this image with all of these things, and then I can send it to whoever's going to be answering my question. You can't do this much editing in Snipping Tool because it's just for snipping. But GreenShot does this. This is the program that I've used in all of the guides that we use in our teaching program to take screenshots of our computer screen to teach everything, and I add all these boxes and arrows and numbers and all of that stuff. So that's GreenShot. And last, Edge now, the newest version, I'll mention that in September, Edge will now automatically read PDFs. But it's just going to be like looking at the picture. There's no editing and stuff on that. Program that Jim will say we have to recommend is for keeping your computer up to date and for when you have new computers, and that is Night Night. Oh, no, I don't want to say that. If we go to the website, I'm going to use Chrome this time. Probably going to open up in my apps. and we go to NINITE.com. Night, still working, don't type. NINITE.com. Night.com is a website that we recommend for two reasons. When Jim or Bill is refurbishing a computer, we come here because at one time, at a single time, we can come down here and we can select all the software we want to install at once. And so Jim does that. He gets a computer we're refurbishing. He says, I want to have this. And then we click, create this, and then install, and he can walk away and come back later and all the programs are done. In our old days before this, we would download the program, install. Okay, download the next program, install, and it would take forever. Night-Night's great. I will have to say that Night-Night doesn't have everything, but they are willing for you to submit and say, hey, why don't you add this? If they get enough people, they'll say, oh, I guess this is a program that lots of people will add that to our list. Now, once you have that done, it creates a special file of all the programs that it got for you. A month from now or 2 months from now, run that program again on your computer that you've saved. It will go out and find all the new versions that are out there and download them for you.
Oh, I didn't know.
So you can keep your computer up to date. Now, if you don't use Night-Night, it can't, do that, obviously. So if there's a program on here that isn't listed, then you have to update that yourself. But Night-Night is the great program. You can also use a program from FileHippo. FileHippo has a program manager that will read all the programs on your computer and then automatically, periodically will go out. It knows what version you have. It goes out and sees if there's a newer version, and then it tells you that, hey, there's a new version for that program. And, Bob's still there, we have the program called Avast, and Avast will do that too. If you go to the Avast program and have it turned on, you will see that if I go to my protection and I go to software update, it scans my computer and it tells me those programs are all up to date. And if there's not a program up to date, it'll be listed and says, hey, this one's out of date. And so between using Night-Night and FileHippo and Avast, I can keep all my computers, up to, all my software up to date. Great program on that. You'll see up here at the top, well, you can do automatic updates. That's paid. And so if you want to, Free John says you try free software. If it doesn't do everything you need it to do, then pay for the paid service. So somebody said, I want somebody else to take care of my updates. So you can pay and have the newer upper version of Avast. Check for new software, download it, install it automatically. You can also, and I'm taking a little Bob stuff away, you can also do the same thing with some other things. They have a ransom shield, not for free. You can pay that, but I found a free one. It's called, where are you? I just found this online. That's Hangouts. Okay, you're there, I know. But there's a program, it's under C's, I think. And yeah, I found Cyber Reason, Cyber Reason ransomware free. So this is a program that's running on the computer now that is supposed to be watching, and if it sees any strange thing where somebody's trying to change my files, it immediately locks things up. So maybe I'll lose a file or two, but I won't have all of my files locked up with ransomware. All right, boy, there's so much out there. Where do you go to find it? Well, I can go to a site. It's on my presentation. Let me get the presentation up. And get out of the way. Oops, I forgot to do the right click. LibreOffice is great because if I right click on the file, I can click show and it goes right to the show. It doesn't open up, so I don't have to go to start from current one. Let's go to the end.
Shift F5 will do that too.
I want to go to the end.
Control N might do that.
Oh, for that, yep, then that's good. Tech Support Alert is a great website to find out about free software. And because it's a hyperlink, I can take you right there. And this one is for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and Android, and iOS. It's a free source of free software. So if you click on Windows, which we're doing right now because we're doing Windows, here are all the categories. So, Juanita, you wanted a, let's see if there's something separate from photos and graphics. Photos and graphics, best free, you're wanting video. Look down my list here.
Before I forget, what was that last one? Tech support alert?
Correct. Tech support alert. Okay, different category then. Oh, audio and video, sorry. And so you're looking for best free video editing program, right?
Yes.
And this recommendation, DaVinci Resolve is the best one they've done. VideoPad. Gee, did we hear that one? Okay, so VideoPad is another of the editor's choice. So I would take it on his recommendation because he actually uses it. So either DaVinci Resolve or VideoPad, but we have somebody who uses it. There's one called HitFilm, Lightworks, VBSC, all high rated, but not the. There's the one I've been told about at Vitamux. So OpenShot. Now, some of these might be cross-platform. See, cross-platform. So that means it probably works, and I do know it works in Linux, even though I'm in the Windows one.
I have used OpenShot, and it's like the star. There's not too many of them there.
Yeah, but that might be for the Windows version. It might have 5 stars for the Linux version because somebody's trying to convert and make this work for Windows, and because Windows doesn't let you look at the recipe, it makes it harder. It's like trying to design a part for a car and the manufacturer says, well, don't you dare look at our car. You can make that part, but don't you look at our car and see if it fits.
Can you go back? That was DaVinci, what?
The other one was DaVinci Resolve. And it's free, open source. That's what I look for it. Now, this one says that there's limited features to the free version. Are you been satisfied ever with what it's doing for you?
Yeah, it's done everything I've needed to do.
See, that's the magic word. Maybe LibreOffice doesn't do everything that Microsoft Office does, but I've not found anything that LibreOffice doesn't do that I need. And I do it even in Windows or Linux. So that's what you look for. Most of these things do what every normal, average person would do.
I got this, in fact, after we're done here, I have VideoPad on the machine. I can show you kind of
Perfect.
about it.
Is that what you use to, if you want to edit your YouTube videos that you upload for
I'm using Windows Media or Windows Movie Maker, but I've used VideoPad in situations where Movie Maker just simply wouldn't work. First, because Movie Maker, you have to have a Windows Media video to work. VideoPad will work with any video file type.
That's what she considered video.
So
So that's the thing. And as we get into this generation of computers, the Windows Movie file type is not as standard as what the new stuff is. And I'm not going to jump on Jackie's, but that's what Jackie's having a problem with. She loves a program for her organization and stuff that's old. Microsoft says, we don't really want that anymore. It's still there, but we're more interested in this. But Jackie's gone, this doesn't do what I want it to do. That does. And the Windows Movie Maker, are you using the version for the one that was for Vista?
no, it's the XP.
Okay. See, there's a newer Windows video program that is past Vista. But in our group, we've always talked about go find the one that was designed for Vista. Because I guess I didn't know the XP one was still out there.
The one for XP will not work on anything beyond XP.
Okay.
But everybody complained, and I agree with them. The one that came out
Live.
from Vista
Live.
was really hard to use, and it did have some. It was
That's
just
right.
extremely hard to use, and we've been through that before.
So that's one good place. Now, I just learned, and Mary Frances hasn't had a chance to talk to me and say, hey, did you read it? But Bill Blinn just sent a new one, and this one is called Old Geeks. Is that right? Old Geeks. And I'm going to look into it because when you go to look for software, you got to be careful where you're going. I tell people my best ones are for Windows File, Hippo, and
This one.
the Sergeant, Major Geeks. Because those are the ones that are making sure that you're getting free software that's not bundled with stuff. And so this new one, is a bunch of old guys who have, what?
No, I'm just laughing.
Mayor Francis, that's not right. Older geeks, maybe.
Did you say so? I thought it was old geeks.
Older geeks.
All right.
No ads, no crapware, no BS. And these people say, we want to be a resource for good, free software that you can count on, doesn't have anything hidden in it.
Edward, that looks like you in your younger days.
And if you go here, I did this, go to your categories, and just like before, there are all the categories, and if you go to these, you'll see that they're mostly the same programs we've been talking about. But this is a place that you can go to get that software that you know isn't going to have something junked in with it. I think at that spot, there's just more and more to be talking about because there is so much free out there. It's just that certain paid companies don't
You're
want you
going
to
to be
know.
a headache.
Yeah, they don't want you. See, home and office writing. There's Apache OpenOffice. And if we move on down, you'll find another version, the Calibre. And then down here farther, we'll find LibreOffice and stuff. So I thank you. Go to some of these. Go to the ones like, there's a couple of ones that I teach in the class for alternatives.
Alternative 2.
Yeah, alternative 2. You can go and find out and say, I want an alternative to Photoshop. And it will give you a bunch of photo editing programs. And you can find other things that are free.
I think we should all give John Kennedy the same respect and honor that we would a person that we had coming in from out of state or whatever. This is our friend. He's gone through a lot of work to prepare this. We thank you, John.
That's our teacher.
But I still have a question for you.
Okay,
You seem so confident. For instance, you go to Geeks or whatever it is, and you get yourself some
Major Geeks. Huh?
free ransomware shield by cyber reason. You seem so confident. I am such a doubting Thomas. How do I know that I can give them some information to run a ransomware shield for me?
I told you, you have confidence in me, so that's the answer.
Is that the basic way you go through it?
I go to sources that I feel confident in. Bill Glenn just told us about older geeks. So I told you about it. So if you trust me, then you go to it. And if it's something bad, then you get back to me. But I do it. I go to trustworthy sources. All right.
Do that.